Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Euro. We are going to analyze the third match day of Group D, the group with England, Croatia, Scotland and Czech Republic with Tom Rennie and of course with you. So leave a comment below in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And of course, if you like our videos, press the like button, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And now let's go on with the show. So Tom, let's analyze what we have on Tuesday, the final day of Group D, and we have Czech Republic, England with 4 points, Croatia and Scotland with 1. How are you, Tom?
I'm okay. I spent the weekend after Friday singing the song Sunshine on Leith by the Proclaimers with a bunch of Scottish football fans. Look it up. It's a classic, Hibernian classic. And so my throat's a bit sore today from singing with Scottish people. So blame them if I do any voice blips during this chat. Apart from that, top notch.
Okay, good. Then let's start with the Tartan Army. Let's start with the game we have in Hampden Park. Croatia, Scotland, and here both teams need the victory. Otherwise, they will be out of the Euro. Croatia, they got at least a draw. What a goal scored Perisic against Czech Republic. Also, that penalty that, in my opinion, was so. Perisic, 4 goals scored for him in the last 4 major tournaments for Croatia. So, for sure, one of the best players that Croatia have. But we've been saying how this Croatian team is going down and down in the last few months, whereas Scotland, they got a great point against England. Even they could have won that game. It won't be a surprise. So here we have Croatia favorite. Still, the odds are quite good. This is a good game to bet, actually, because the odds are very high for any outcome. Why don't we go for Scotland here?
Oh, I don't know. This is a real tough one, actually. There's some good money to be made, as you say, but I actually see it as very, very close. You go through Oddspedia this morning, you got 2-1 for Croatia, around 3-1 for Scotland. So you've got to pick out some score lines. You've got to pick out some first goal scorers. I'd be looking under as well because of the tension in this game, the sheer tension there's going to be in this game between Croatia and Scotland. You mentioned how the group looks. Croatia 1 point from 2, Scotland 1 point from 2, though you'd have thought following that 0-0 draw at Wembley, Scotland had won the World Cup, but no, it was just a point in a European Championship group. Celebrated wildly, and I'm sure they had a lovely day. I know they did, and I'm glad they were in London, as I was. Let's talk Scotland, how well they played. They were always going to play well against England. We spoke about this last week. They were always going to put in a committed performance against England, but they coupled that with organisation. They coupled that with a really tactically well thought out plan by Steve Clarke. They went 3 at the back as they have a lot. Tierney came back in, which was very, very important. Billy Gilmour starting was a revelation. I thought he was the best player on the field by far in the game against England. I thought he ran the game because not only did they have battlers in there putting tackles in, but they had him in there as an assured passer of the ball, which maybe we don't associate with Scotland. But that's what Billy Gilmour brought them. And I expect him, after his first start for Scotland at Wembley on Friday, to start on Tuesday in this game against Croatia. Look, Scotland aren't going to suddenly become this free-flowing, ultra-attacking side. I think Billy Gilmour and Shea Adams coming in from the first game to second made a massive difference. I would expect them to stay. I would expect them to look to absorb Croatia. And I would expect them to try and not hit them on the break as such, but when they have the ball, do something with it. They're not going to be over the top to Shea Adams and hope he can pop one in. They're going to try and move forward through the thirds. It's whether they can do that at any pace if they can. So Croatia going to its light favourites. I'm not sure I see that. Poor performance against England, which we spoke about previously. They weren't great against the Czech Republic. I think they had that look. You mentioned that awful penalty given against Lovren. I mean, it makes no sense. They've got video replays. It makes no sense that was given as a penalty. And you could just see everyone go, I can't believe this has happened to us. This is not going to be our Euros. This team's final splutter is going to be a pitiful bottom of the group finish in a group featuring Scotland. Then Perisic scored that goal. They seem to be invigorated by that, but only to a degree. Do they look threatening? Not really. Are they getting Rebic or Kramaric or Perisic forward enough to create enough chances? Not really. And are they going to go into this game against Scotland so offensive that they're going to get the goals they need to win it and win it clearly? I'm not sure. I see this being tight. I see it being a difficult game for both. And a draw is no good for either of these sides here because of the points the other two have got. And if it's a draw between the Czech Republic and England, only a win would get a team in third, maybe a way through. And they'd need to be one of the best third-place finishers, which they may not be without a big win. But I actually think a draw is an interesting outcome here. And going through the scorelines this morning, goalless draw at 10-1. Goalless draw at 10-1 to me looks quite appealing. I'd be looking draw. I'd be looking goalless draw. I think that's quite nice. Otherwise, Croatia's slight favourites, but because it's so close, there's no real value there. So tight Scotland win or goalless draw will be my picks.
Okay, yeah, with a draw, both teams are out of the Euro, and actually all the third teams in the other groups, they will be very happy because they have 2 points, so at least with 4 points they will be qualified. You mentioned Amber goals, so under 2.5 goals pays 1.86, under 2 goals pays 2.7, so this is very good odds actually if you think there will be 1 or no goals. And since what we've saw so far of Croatia and Scotland going forward, actually we haven't seen many goals from both sides. This could be an option, and well, these two teams, they need the victory to be in the last 16 round. Czech Republic and England, more or less, they are in the last 16 round. It has to be like something catastrophic for them. A draw for sure put them in the next round. And for Czech Republic, we've seen Patrik Schick already 3 goals since Milan Baros. No Czech Republic person have scored, or player have scored more goals in a major tournament. It was in 2004. So good stats for...
Good stat. Good. Didn't know that. Good stat.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well done, Patrik Schick. And England, probably you were disappointed by the performance against Scotland. Now, you tell me, but going forward for this game, also England really favorite, odds 1.67, but seeing how Czech Republic is a bit dangerous, be careful, because I won't be as well no surprise if the Czech Republic gets a point here.
Yeah, I mean, as I told you in our first week of these, Czech Republic were always my surprise pick, my dark horse for this tournament. I'm a big fan of so many of their players, not just the West Ham ones, but also the Sparta Prague ones who will be at West Ham soon enough. Look, I think if we start with England, it was awful Friday. It was absolutely awful, the performance, I thought. They were up against a side in Scotland who treated it like their World Cup final for obvious reasons, and so it was always going to be tough. But you expected England's creative, offensive players to come to the fore, and they didn't. Simple as that. They did not do anything. Raheem Sterling didn't offer a great deal. A couple runs from deep aside and 1 near assist to Mason Mount. Nothing at all. Didn't understand why Phil Foden got taken off. I don't think anyone really understood that move from Gareth Southgate, because if any attacker looked like they might do something in the game, it was Phil Foden, and yet he was withdrawn relatively early. Very strange. And Harry Kane subbed again. He was lucky to get 70 minutes. He was so poor in this game. Is it him being poor? Is it him being tired? Is it bad service? As always, it's a bit of all of the above. Going to this one, I wouldn't expect a great deal of changes. I know Maguire is apparently fit. I wouldn't be looking to bring him in. The Calvin Phillips role is the one I'd be looking to change here. He played brilliantly against Croatia, offered nothing against Scotland. And I think England want to be a bit more creative here. So maybe Jordan Henderson might come in and give that Rice-Henderson balance. Or maybe even if I was a braver coach, I might bring in Jack Grealish for that role. But I'm not sure Southgate wants to be brave. And maybe he's right, because a draw here gets England through. And a draw here sees them finish second. And second is a better place to finish than first, because first gets second in the group of death. And so you might play France if you win this group. And so I expect both teams here to be a bit cautious. And England fans might not like that. But I expect them to be cautious. And Croatia and Scotland are going to have to go all out in their games. Czech Republic and England, they can say, well, hold on a minute. We could do handshakes all round here. And much like the first game, I'm looking at draw score lines. And despite England being big favourites, it's like 2-1 against 7-1 right now, England against the Czechs. A 0-0 draw. A 0-0 draw is around 9-1, 10-1. Look at your draw score lines. Look at your underscore lines. This is two teams here on the brink of a relatively easy qualification. And so 0-0, 1-1, low scoring, seems like a decent bet to me. They're good at the back, are the Czech Republic. I would be looking for a team here who were able to hold England out. I'd be looking for a team here who would be able to not be that bothered by what England can do. Kalas and Saluska, the two centre-halves I was thinking of there. Lover and Croatia, very confusing. But I'd be looking for 0-0, 1-1. There you go. Draw, draw, draw.
We are going to have a lot of fun then on Tuesday, according to you, Tom. The draw, you just mentioned it, 3.78. If we go for under 2.5 goals, 1.72, under 2 goals, 2.28. And you mentioned two names, Tom. One is Harry Kane. Before starting this tournament, we were pointing at him as one of the, of course, best strikers in the world. I don't know if the situation with Tottenham can affect him or just because the season has been too long. What is going on?
Such a good question. Such a good question. I think that he was anonymous against Croatia and he was worse against Scotland. Look, for Tottenham now, he is an everyman player. He does every single role for Tottenham. In a poor side, he's their top scorer, top assist maker, top playmaker, everything. And England have built a team around number 9, Harry Kane. I'm not sure number 9, Harry Kane, fully exists. All-round player, Mr. Tottenham Hotspur, is the player that exists now. He drops deep to try and create things. He's trying to link the play. He's trying to play these trademark cross-field passes to get things moving. England don't need that. Tottenham need that because they're not particularly good in many departments. England have got Declan Rice who can do it. They've got Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, loads of players who can play those passes. And so they don't need him to do that. He needs to be the number 9. The amount of times against Scotland, Reece James got forward and looked up and Harry Kane was next to him. Why are you next to me? What are you doing here? Get forward. And I think that there needs to be a conversation about what his role is in this team. Gareth Southgate has said he will start, has to start. He's still England's best player, but they've got to find a way to get the best out of him. And if not, if this game is 0-0 or it's being won by the Czechs with 10 minutes to go, I would get Calvert-Lewin on. I couldn't understand why Rashford came on for Kane against Scotland because Rashford's not a centre-forward, never been a centre-forward. It doesn't work. It's never worked. And Calvert-Lewin, to give Grant Hanley a bit of an issue, might have been the right thing to do for England. And instead, I think Gareth Southgate's playing this like tournament football. A draw is okay. You've won a game now. 4 points will probably get you through. 5 will definitely get you through, probably as group winners or at least joint top. So I think that they're going to be pretty risk averse here. And I just don't see this being a goal fest. I don't see this being the game where Harry Kane gets 2, 3, 4 goals and gets his confidence motoring again. And I can see it again being 0-0 in the 75th minute. And they make that change. Hopefully it's Calvert-Lewin this time.
He touched the ball 10 times in the first half against Scotland, only 10 times. This is very poor. And to finish, you also mentioned the name of Jack Grealish and maybe Southgate not being brave enough to put him on the pitch. But if England is lacking some creativity, maybe the player of Aston Villa can be this man who turns the thing. I just don't know. I don't know if he trusts him enough. I mean, firstly, I think Jack Grealish becomes a better player every minute he sits on the bench. The longer he doesn't play, everyone tells us how good he is and how great he is. I do think he's a very, very good player. But what are England with Harry Kane? They need people to go and do his running for him, if you like. They need people to be able to get on the end of the ball over the top, which is why Foden and Sterling are getting the nod. I'd be more inclined, if I was Gareth Southgate and playing Harry Kane, to bring in Marcus Rashford for Raheem Sterling and maybe look to bring Jadon Sancho in for Phil Foden to provide pace, which would then maybe allow Harry Kane to do that drop deeper thing like he does with Heung-min Son and Lucas Moura and the other players at Tottenham that do his running for him, Steven Bergwijn, those players.
So I think there might be changes. I don't think it'll be Grealish. I'd love to see Grealish for Phillips and Grealish playing number 10 as he has occasionally for Villa. They're usually from the left. I'd like to see Foden dropped into a number 10 role and Sancho and Rashford given the chance alongside Kane, because Kane hasn't worked, but Kane will not be dropped. Kane shouldn't be dropped, but those around him are not getting the best out of him. So change it up. If there's one thing England aren't short of right now, it's players who can play alongside Harry Kane. And the ones that have done it for the first two, it's not been a right pick. It's not been the right system. There's not been the right chemistry. So there's your changes. The three around Kane, not Kane himself.
Okay. Then thanks, Tom. Sorry, we are not going to see many goals on Tuesday, according to you, but we can make some money. Then see you very soon and keep enjoying the Euro. See you.
Have I enjoyed the Euro? Well, I suppose. Not the England games.
Not the Spanish ones. Now we have our tips to bet on Group D. Let me know what you think about Tom's tips in the comment section. And remember, you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And of course, if you enjoy our videos, click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. If you prefer, also, we have a podcast for you. We will be back very soon with more info, with more tips about the Euro.